Hey guys, this is Jules. I just want to share my card that I made for Anna's birthday. I went searching to start editing the video that I recorded when I was making it, and looks like I am missing half of the clips. So I decided I'm just going to go ahead and make a new one. For the sake of having a tutorial, I do want to make a card and replicate it. That way I can at least show you guys how I made it. I will do a couple things differently. You'll see that in the video here. I pre-cut everything and I have everything pretty much ready. I am going to just show you how I put it together. So here we're going to start with some pre-cut, pre-scored ivory cardstock cards that I got at Michael's. Comes in a packet of 50. I'm creasing it down with my Martha Stewart bone folder to give it a nice clean look to it. And then I'm going to add some old paper distressing just to finish the framing of it. And just making sure this fits well. You'll see a Maya Road stick pin there with some of Lori's beautiful vintage string. And I added a heart from Tim Holtz Heart and Wings die. And then I added a couple of these little ones that are from the decorative doily die that's from Sizzix. I did a crackle technique on all those four and Maya Rhodes butterfly. Let's see here. Then one of Wild Orchid Crowds. This was a packet of, I think, Hello Boars. This kind of goes really well with the card. So I may or may not use it. I haven't pulled it out yet, but I may or may not use that for this next card. For the ribbon, I used some pink one that I got, and so that's what I'm using. So I already cut a piece of that, and then I have some gold ribbon here, which is from my stash. I have that here. And then I used a die cut from the Nature Garden pack. Actually, I don't know if it's from Nature Garden or if it is from, I think it's from the Almanac pack, actually. So I've already done the base coats for these and did the crackle paint technique on these, get them ready to go. This is a pink on pink, and on Anna's I did a green and then pink on top. So I'm going to change it up a little bit with the other card. You can't see it too well, but it's super cute. This one I'm going to leave the same. It's a different butterfly, but I'm going to do, I did the vintage white on top with the green underneath. Comes out really pretty. And you can see that it'll show the pink through it. So I have those already done. So what I'm going to do is, the flourish. I'm going to end up using this flourish from Cherry Lynn Dies, and I'm just going to end up cutting it up. So that's the flourish that I use in the card I'm just showing you. So on the heart here, I did the green, that mustardy green on the bottom and then the white. On this card, I'm doing a little bit different. I'm just going to use some of this pink paint, and I already have it painted. Did the medium already on it, and I'm going to do the crackle technique here as you watch. Looks really cool as you watch it crack. I love this part. So doing the vintage white on here, and I'm going all in one direction, but when I did the medium, I noticed that I didn't do it all in one direction. I did do a couple of swipes that were at an angle, and you can kind of see it on the right side there, but it's okay. You just watch it dry just a tiny bit. And I did add a little bit thicker down there for no particular reason. It's just what I had on the brush. Leave it aside to dry. And then I'm going to do a little bit of distressing with paint. And that is just adding little kind of messily like dabs of paint on the little hearts. Kind of adding to that shabby chic look. And for the paper, it's white cardstock, so I want to tone it down a little bit. And I do this sometimes every now and again. I'll add some paint to paper. So just using some glossy accents. There's different things that you can use to do this kind of effect. Glossy accents for me is very easy. You just pour it on there. There is something called triple thick, which is kind of the same thing. And you can also do like a UT, a wet UT or a wet embossing look to it with some clear or glittery kind of embossing powder. Or use UT if you want to. Regular embossing powder is fine as well. Trying to think what else. So I mean, there's a few options out there. You can do a spray kind of a varnish on it that is just a clear. Different ways to do this, like a glossy look on your die cuts and things. So I'm just filling this up with the glossy accents to add to the effect. I did do a half of a doily, and this is a doily from Cherry Lynn Dies. It's a doily die. Here is the die. It's called a English Tea Party, so it has this really pretty design on it, and I love these dies. But what I've done is I've cut it out of white cardstock. There's also a Spellbinders die here, a half of a die. I cut out a piece of the designer paper, and it comes from the Pico Circle set. I'll show that to you, which is this one. It's a set of 4, and that is going to go right on top of that. And then I also have a circle, half of a circle, which is just regular white cardstock that I rubbed old paper distress ink on, and then I did the pink on there so that it stands out. And after that, I used a half of a flower from this trim that I got at Hobby Lobby. I actually cut half of a flower on that, and then I used a flat back pearl, one of the larger ones from Wild Orchid Crafts. So I'll be using that. So I have all that pre-done. So here's a piece of the designer paper and white cardstock. Now I'm going to be cohesive with all of the inking of the white cardstock. So I'm going to do again the old paper colored distress ink, and then I'm going to add the Victorian Velvet, which has a very beautiful dusty pink already. I want to just make it all of these little pieces match the same kind of a pink. So just one on top of the other. And this just changes the look of white cardstock altogether. So this is just another way that you can add some extra color, or you know, better to better match your paper, your whatever designer paper you're using. I do tend to add a little bit of heat to it before I do stamping. That's just my habit. After doing that little piece there, I do pounce a little bit on the flourish, just so that there'll be a little bit of a tinge of the pink on there, except for the leaves. The leaves, I'm going to go ahead and add some paint to it. Now this is already after I painted it, so it does give a little bit of tooth to it, I guess, on the paper. Not that paper's not already absorbent, but I needed it to tone it down anyway, so. All right, let's get started on this card. So again, I am just gonna grab some of the stuff that I'm gonna use. First, I'm gonna do the ribbons and the lace, and the lace goes down first. I'll put the lace down in a second, but the die cut is from the I think Nature's Garden, or did I say Almanac? I can't remember now. But I'm gonna use the same kind of die cut that I did on the other card. And I just did a couple of holes, and I did them a little bit wider, just because the ribbon, although it's see-through and it's very flat, it's still very wide, so it's nice and chunky. So I want to give it room to slide in and out as I'm putting it on all together. So I did do a little bit of ATG just to adhere that pink lace to the back, but I'm going to give it a little bit more reinforcement once I put this down and tuck this ribbon in the back side of it. So just doing some of the hot glue, and that'll melt right through the lace onto the paper. And I can still slide the ribbon around, see? So once I have that down, I'm just going to cut off some excess because I don't need too much bulkiness back there anyways. So just a little bit of a cheater, adding some tape to hold it down. Okay, so after the bow, and I set it aside so that we can get this already adhered down to the card base. Nice and even. Some ATG, and I think I'm going to do some wet glue here with some of the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. Same thing kind of with the little Spellbinders die cut. I did edge this with Old Paper Distress ink. Don't know if I mentioned that before. And here's the layers. And this just makes it pop a lot better, and it just pulls the pink, a lot more of the pink of the paper out. Because there's not a whole lot of pink in this paper collection. It's very subtle. So here we go with the flourish. And it's kind of cute. It pops a little bit of pink up against the creams back there. And then the green leaves, it just gives it a little bit more of a girly, gardeny look. So I'm just going to glue little pieces together just to create my own little flourish. Because I do love the swirls on here, you guys. And I wanted to try and keep them all the pieces if I could. So I'm just going to tuck it back there. I'm using my Zig 2-way pen glue. I like this for little areas. Now this is the kind that has like a little, the tip is a plunger, so when you push it down, the glue comes out a little bit more. So here we go with the little thank you banner, just some wet glue and onto the designer paper. So I chose the gardenia, and I believe this is baby pink from Wild Orchid Crafts. So I'm going to use that to center my bow with in a second. But now that my hearts are dry, I'm going to get them down on my big heart that's already dry. Glue those down. Kind of figure it out exactly how I want it. It's a little bit of hot glue. Just a third little heart. And I'm going to glue the big one down. That'll go right on top of the die cut, and it'll hide the edge of the banner. And here's my Maya Road stick pin that I have never really used these ones, and I love them. They were really pretty. Added some of the little string to it, vintage yarny string from Lori's store. And I want it to hold down. I don't want it to slip out at all, so I did put a little bit of glue back there. I'm going to do the banner tail or the fish tail to the ends of the bow so I can glue it down. I do like it hanging a little bit, and I did leave some of it hanging on Anna's card. Kind of help with just reinforcing it there. And this will hide the holes. The holes that I punched, they look a little rough, I guess. Add a little bit of Old Paper Distress ink just to give it a shabby look to the rose. And it's going to give some of the glossiness to the leaves as well. And that'll kind of just go with the glossiness on the hearts. And it makes it stand out to me a little bit, so it looks pretty. You can see the detail much better over in the photos on my blog. So if you're interested and you want to see up close stuff, you can head over to my blog and click on the pictures. It should pull up a little bit larger for you. Here's a half flat back pearl from Wild Orchid Crafts, and I just centered that flower there with it. And one of the last parts is this butterfly, and it's still drying, so I try to be careful not to touch the top too much. Now on the inside of the card, I do like to do some sort of a writing area. It kind of helps balance the weight too from the very front of the card, and not having anything on the inside of the card makes it very top heavy. So this is a die cut that I have over on my AccuCut die cut listing, It is a Victorian die cut shape. I have 3 different shapes. And I'm going to, and it's cut out of ivory cardstock to match the paper or the card. So I'm going to add it to this mat, and this is from the designer paper from Nature's Garden from Prima. And I'm just going to add this shape over on there. That way there's a space to write. Using some ATG so I can put it inside the card, and then once that's in, it's ready to go. So there's my card. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have any questions, let me know or just leave a comment down below. All the information is over on my blog, and all the links that you need are below the video here in the description box. Thanks for watching.